This is going to be those longer 2.875 bolts.
And now for our feature presentation.
Hey there, folks. How you doing today? Welcome back to the channel, and please bear with any background racket that you might hear throughout today's production. We are on location where life happens. There's stuff that goes on out there that can be heard in here. Let's not let it stand in the way of the fun that we have in store for you. Out here on the table in front of me, I've got something kind of cool to share with you. This is an item that was sent to us by a viewer of the channel, somebody that enjoys what we do here, sent this to us, asked us to put it together, evaluate it, and share the results with you. So here we are. You can read there, it says it's a Tipton Best Gun Vise. You might not know what that is. I had seen these before, hadn't really paid much attention to them. I've always just kind of used something else. But looking over the specs on this thing, it actually looks like it's probably going to be pretty good for what it's good for. You look over here, you can see the complete unit. This is an adjustable rig that's set up for cleaning weapons, mounting scopes, doing preventative care and maintenance. I got to be careful how I word things on this platform. This is an item that's set up to help you hold on to your firearm, whatever it is you're trying to do to it. Typically, I'm not real big on unboxing segments, but because he sent this to us and specifically asked for it, I'm going to do one here. So I'm going to get up now and move the camera in so you can see what's actually going on inside this box.
Well, we're waiting.
All right, so now I have the box mostly in view of the camera. I'll tip it back there so you can see the markings on it. It says it's a stock through rear clamp, which independently adjustable rear clamp provides unobstructed access for a faster, easier cleaning. It has an adaptable center support. This thing can be flipped either long ways or short ways, depending on the profile of the weapon. We'll demonstrate that a little bit for you here in a minute. Has an adjustable design. You can move all these parts on it forward and backward depending on the profile of your weapon. And it has some little built-in storage. I'll show that up close when we get it out. It's got some little cubbies for cleaning patches and stuff like that, or springs if you're working on something. Without further ado, though, let's get this opened up. All right, now that we got rid of the outer box and we got the inner parts box opened up, I'll show you here that this did come with a very concise set of instructions. It's only a little like church bulletin leaflet single page deal here. For the sake of helping somebody set this up that might be having issues with it, we're going to go ahead and go over the instructions here in the video. If you don't want to see this portion, just scrub forward to the point where you see the unit put together. For starters, let's make sure we have all the parts. Over here, you'll see that we have a base with an aluminum T-track and feet. That's this right here. It does have feet on the other side of it. A clamp block for the left side and a clamp block for the right side. I'm not sure which is which. We'll figure that out here in a minute, but there are those. A rear clamp base with pad. That's going to be this portion here. You'll see here where the deal's fastened into the back side of that. A fore-end base. That's going to be this part here. You'll see that it mounts to the unit, and then it has a sliding piece here for the upper portion. We'll show that here in just a second. And moving on, the fore-end upper support with pad would be this one. And again, let me show you here how those two pieces fit together and slide up and down for adjustment. Set that over there. What's next? A grip support with pads. I think that's what this is here. And you'll see that it can either be oriented like that or down like that, depending on your application. All right, let's see here. We have 5 T-bolts, 5/16 by 18 by 1.75 inches. Like about a 1.75 incher. It's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep, we got 5 of those. And we have 2 of them that are 2.875 inches long. That would be those 2. And then 7 knobs. It looks like they already have the knobs installed on the bolts, which is nice. All right, let's get started with the assembly. Number 1, attaching the 4-end base and 4-end upper support. Locate 2 of the 1.75-inch bolts. We got 2 of them right here. And then we need our 2 4-end pieces. If you notice here, there's a little groove right there that just kind of sits down in that track. And then when you flip this upside down, you'll see there's a track right there. What you need to do is take one of those T-bolts out of the knob, slide it down in the track so that it sits like that down in between the 2 rails. Otherwise, it will not be long enough. And then you can assemble that onto the top of it there. And this bolt adjusts the height of the 4-end base. So now that we have that on there, again, we have another tab. That's for the little rail here. And this is where the second knob will go. We'll take that one out, slide it into our T-base down here, and then guide it onto there. And when you tighten that down, it'll hold it and keep it from sliding forward and backward. Otherwise, you have movement of it on the track. That's kind of nice. So there's the 4-end. Moving on, installing the grip support onto the base. Locate the L-shaped grip support along with 1 of the 1.75-inch bolts. Place the T-bolt head down and slide it into the aluminum track. To the middle region of the gun vise, position the grip basically the way you want it. Now, you can either position it like this or you can position it like this according to your specific application. Go ahead and move that stuff off of there. So for the sake of this one today, we're going to orient it in the upright position for our first test subject, which we'll get to here in a minute. So you go ahead and stick that on there like that. I noticed that bolt barely sticks up high enough to grab. So let's do this. Let's put it on there like that first. Put our bolt on, push it down so we can get into the track. There we go. And then you can simply tighten that down to suit your needs. Also, you could flip this around from one side to the other if you needed to, like this. If that worked better for your application. And then also, as I mentioned earlier, it can be oriented like that. Just put the bolt down through there. So pretty versatile. For the sake of right now, we'll leave it like this. All right, so moving on now, we'll get to putting together our rear base thing here. You'll see that they have it marked. There's an LR for left rear and an RR for right rear. RR, said the pirate.
Not like this.
So here's the base, and if you look, molded into the plastic here, it's idiot-proof. It says left rear right there. You'll notice this little flange portion, and there's a corresponding slot on the base. Is going to be those longer 2.875 bolts. You'll just slide the bolt right in there. It's a little difficult to get to, but not too bad. And then we can put the adjustment knob on, and that allows you to move this up and down, and then you can secure it into place for your clamping action. And we'll just repeat that with the other side. So there we have our 2 stock clamps installed on the base, and now there's 2 more of these and 2 more holes, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say we stick those in there.
A few moments later.
So now that we have this thing put together, it took about 10 minutes, and that was me fumbling around and trying to make it look aesthetically pleasing for you, the viewer. Really, this could have been put together without the instructions, although reading them did certainly help, and I always advise to do so. Let's see how this works with a variety of different firearm designs. We'll start with something kind of old school, and we'll go with this single-shot 20-gauge shotgun that we have right back here on the wall. I did that just to prove a point because I had somebody mention in one of the videos here a while back that wall was a visual effect and it wasn't an actual wall behind me. Well, it certainly is a wall. I've got this pad on here on the back of this thing that holds some shotgun shells. And I always preach when it comes to working on these things that we always want to work with a safe and empty weapon anytime you're doing maintenance or cleaning or whatever. I really don't consider this to be loaded. However, if it made you more comfortable, you could certainly take those off of the butt pad before you got started. Realistically, those aren't going anywhere, so I'm just going to leave them alone. But I will show you here, this is a safe and empty weapon. So when this thing is open, you're going to want it oriented something kind of like this, so you can clean down the bore, so you can inspect the bore, and so you can go through the process of getting this thing cleaned up. So let's see how we need to adjust this thing to make it work. I'll start by backing these screws out a little bit, because with those shells mounted on the back, the rear stock is a little thicker than some. That might require that we take them out. But we're going to find out if this is wide enough to do it with them. All right. Will that fit in there? Nope, we're going to have to take those out. So I'm going to just go ahead and pop those old shells out of there. So that we can fit the stock into the hole. And there you have it. This is adjustable to hold a single shot shotgun. So it works for that. Let's move on to something else.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Our next sample for testing to see how this thing is functional will be for our Ruger American Gen 2. This is a 243 that has proven itself to be extremely accurate. And I'm going to be taking it on a hunting trip here in the very near future. So we need to get it cleaned up and ready to go. Just by looking at the way this is adjusted, this center support is probably in the way. I'm not sure if it would be necessary to have that on there for any application, which one of the great features of this is if you don't need something on there, you can take it off. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off and see how that works. Take the front piece off. Take the center piece out. Put the fore end back on. Doing this all in real time so you can see how much time I'm wasting. So now, this does have a bipod mounted on the front of it, which adds a small degree of difficulty, but shouldn't be anything that we can't get past. So let's move this back behind the bipod, and we'll adjust it to a position where the bore is relatively level to the rear end. Screw our clamps in a little bit. And there we go. It is now secured in there pretty solid. So in this application, you would remove the magazine, open and remove the bolt, and now you can see right down the bore to run your cleaning rod through there or whatever you need to do. But another really nice feature to this is if you were mounting a scope, this gives you a nice, solid, stable platform. There's the little divots here in the tray where you can put screws or your Loctite or your little screwdriver, whatever you're working with. But this application also works very well for a hunting rifle. Let's move on and see what it does with something else. Here we have a doozy. Here we have one of these chassis platform guns that is really kind of big and awkward for a lot of applications. Go ahead and make this sucker safe. Screw those in a little bit. Yep, and there you have it. It also works for a chassis platform. Now, I know some of you are probably wondering, how does it fare with an MSR type platform? Well, let's start with this one. This is a pistol, so it's a little bit shorter. Go ahead and open up those clamps and see if we can adjust this thing down to fit it. That's the beauty of the adjustable design here, is regardless of the length of whatever it is you're working with, this thing does seem to be adjustable enough to securely hold a variety of different lengths of weapons. And there you have it. We can mount this one. Well, what if, suppose, you wanted to crack this thing open to get to the innards? Well, let's see what we can do. So here you can see a good example of how you can use the center support to hold something propped up if you were needing to clean the bore or something of an MSR platform. And just in case you're wondering, you could take something like a handgun and stick it back here in the vise and hold it in position if you needed to do some kind of maintenance or cleaning on that as well. If you wanted one of these, Amazon sells them for like 80 bucks. I think they're $79.49 to be exact. There might be a better price out there on the internet. I don't know. I didn't buy this one. I'm not sure what he paid for it, but I do know that for the investment, it does seem to be pretty solid and have a lot of good applicable use. I'm going to wrap it up now. You tell me what you think. Let me know down below if something like this would work for you. Hey there, folks. Thanks for watching today's production. Before you leave, let me ask you for just a moment of your time. I'm not asking you to buy anything. I'm not asking for anything directly from you other than a few more moments of your time. If you look out here on the table in front of me, you'll see the Bear Creek BC 10mm. There's several of you that have seen the review that we did on this platform here on the channel. You might also recall the review we did on the BC Grizzly, and also we've reviewed a couple of their other products that they have sent out to us for the purpose of review. Now, last time I spoke to the folks over there at Bear Creek, they said in order to keep sending stuff free gratis for us to review on this platform, they're going to need to show that they're getting traffic to their point of interest from this platform. And in order to do that, I need y'all to jump down to the pinned comment on this video. Check out that link that is right there. Just go over to their website, and by clicking on it and checking it out, it'll show that people are watching what I'm putting down over here and they are following up on it. I'm not asking you to buy anything. You don't have to buy anything, but it'll just show the folks over at Bear Creek that their investment in advertising dollars is well spent. If you do that for me, I'd appreciate it. I would consider it a personal favor. And until next time, thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.